If you think that the 2014 unsettled flood claims are shocking, then sense this. 0.06%. Yes, 0.06%, which is just 28 audit paragraphs of the pending objections in the audit report are settled as of March 2019. Mentioned a CAG report on social, general, economic and revenue sector government of J&K. The report, which was recently tabled in the Parliament, held the government departments of J&K responsible for their inadequate response to the audit report and demanded a revamp of the system in order to respond to the audit observations in the specified time frame. Besides that, the audit report has also pointed out several factors that are impacting the growth and functioning of certain government departments, be it their deficiencies in terms of implementation of programs or quality of internal control measures. So in the first episode of KO Highlights, we will try to see some of the red flags that have been raised through the report through audit compliance paragraphs. So let's first talk about non-PSUs. While talking about the education debt, the report highlighted the failure of Education Department to take timely action for utilization of funds that were allocated from the center, because of which the intended beneficiaries were deprived of the quality education. So what basically happened was that in 2008 November, the central government launched a scheme, as per which all the educationally backward blocks that are the ABB must have at least one good quality secondary school, that is the model school. But the report says even though there was an availability of 44.13 crores, these schools were never established. So the CAG is asking the state government to fix this and refund the unpaid amount. On the other hand, we have the finance department, which CAG says has multiple issues. The broader issue is the increase in the accumulated funds, which CAG says is due to the undisbursed fund of relief, compensation to the victims of militancy, natural disasters, improper planning, etc. The total increase in the accumulated balance of 1138 bank account holders of 131 DDOs is from 116.41 crores to 399.94 crores during the period from 2014 to 2019. If we take a look at the flood compensation, the report suggests that an amount of 5.48 crores is still undisbursed, while half of the payment that was supposed to be credited into the beneficiaries' accounts has never been credited because a DDOs has communicated wrong information to the bank officials.
As many as 128 solar power plants at police establishments in Jammu and Kashmir remained non-functional since 2014 due to non-settlement of payment of work contract tax, mentioned the report. The CAG has asked the Jammu and Kashmir Home Department to settle work contract tax on priority and ensure the rectification of the defects in the non-functional plants so that the investment made is utilized. In case of water storage tanks, the CAG said the Jammu and Kashmir government incurred wasteful expenditure as the Irrigation and Flood Control Department took up the execution of work without acquiring private land and seeking prior clearance from the Forest Department and Defence Authority, resulting in the wasteful expenditure of Rs 3.67 crore.
Let's now talk about the PSUs. Under PSUs, most of the observations are related to two PSUs, that is, the Jammu and Kashmir Projects Construction Corporation Limited and Jammu and Kashmir State Power Development Corporation Limited. The monetary implications of the observations made with regards to these two PSU is around Rs 17 crore. And here are the observations. Point number 1. Expenditure in excess. First of all, there is an excess expenditure. The Jammu and Kashmir Projects Construction Corporation Limited did not restrict the construction work of a bridge and allied works within a sanctioned cost, which resulted in non-recovery of an expenditure of around 2 crore incurred on the work. Similarly, the CAG mentioned that the Jammu and Kashmir State Power Development Corporation Limited has incurred a loss of around 2 crore due to execution failure of the Rajiv Gandhi Gramin Vidyuktikaran Yojana. Point number 2. Short realization of administrative overheads. Besides that, the CAG also mentioned that there was short realization of administrative overheads. An example, despite clear instructions of the project authority to restrict the value of work to 20.50 crore for the construction of Niki Tavi Bridge, the company had exceeded the sanctioned cost, which resulted in short realization of administrative overheads of 1.64 crores.
Based on all this, the CAG made several recommendations for the management to consider, including long-term planning and strong internal control mechanism. But many in Kashmir are getting paranoid over the implementation of these recommendations, as the accountability bodies like the State Consumer Commission have ceased to exist after the abrogation of J&K's semi-autonomous status.